First, I'd like to thank Fran and Mike for letting me be a part of their big day, and I'd like to say what a privilege it's been to be Fran's maid of honor. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ashley, and I'm one of Fran's best friends. Growing up as an only child, not having any sisters of my own, Fran was a sister that I never had, and the Gallants were essentially my second parents. To be quite honest, it's hard to remember what life was like before Fran. Fran and I have officially known each other since first grade. However, we unofficially met in kindergarten. Now, that might sound a little bit bizarre, but you see, kindergarten used to be for a half day. I attended in the morning, and Fran attended in the afternoon. Each day, we sat at the same desk with a name tag that, when flipped over, would reveal either Franny or Ashley. It wasn't until first grade that I met the mysterious Franny from the other side of my name tag when we were officially introduced on the playground by our friend Bethany. From then on, we became inseparable. We did everything together, and like every dynamic duo, we got into a little bit of trouble now and then. You see, being more the mischievous little sister, Fran had to put up with a lot. One incident comes to mind which sort of exemplifies our relationship. It's hard to remember exactly how it all went down, but like most of our sleepovers, Fran and I decided that a 3 a.m. trip to the freezer for some ice cream was in order. There, we found a partially eaten Wendy's Frosty just waiting to be consumed. It was rock solid, but an otherwise perfect candidate to satisfy our nocturnal craving. Of course, to expedite the process, we popped the Frosty into the microwave. Now, the details of how a metal spoon made it into the microwave along with our frozen treat are a little bit fuzzy, but as you can imagine, a stream of sparks and fireworks erupted, leaving us without a Frosty, but instead, a broken microwave, a stern reprimanding, and a call to the Gallant household. I call up Fran the next day to say, hey, that was crazy. Want to hang out again today? We can try to get another Frosty. Only to be informed that while I got off scot-free, Fran got grounded for a week. Unfortunately for Fran, this was not an isolated event. And although a lot of our childhood went like this, I'm happy to report that Fran and I still remain best friends. As the years went by, our microwave problems transitioned into guy problems. We used to go on these back road drives through Vestal drinking our coffee while Fran would counsel and offer advice to me on important matters of life. Boys. Flash forward years later, and Fran has a job as a psych NP, and I come to the realization that I've been receiving professional services rendered for many years, all for the nominal fee of a Dunkin' Donuts coconut iced coffee with cream and sugar. Not too bad of a copay, if you ask me. So on one of these drives in particular, Fran mentions that she's going to be going on a ski trip with Mike. Now, just to give you an idea, our typical ski trips might have included a nice ski lodge with a fireplace or a hotel with a jacuzzi hot tub, but this trip was going to be slightly different. This trip wasn't going to include hot tubs or fireplaces. Instead, Mike and Fran would be spending the night in the luxurious comforts of a trailer hitched to the back of a Honda Civic. Furthermore, this trip was not without its struggles, but in the end, the trip was a success and marks the moment when I knew beyond a doubt that Fran and Mike were going to get married. There are not many people that could get Fran to to trade a hotel for a camper, but for Mike, she did. Fran and Mike are very different people, and I think there's a reason that it's said that opposites attract. Mike is more outgoing, Fran is more reserved, Mike is more relaxed, Fran is more planned. Mike enjoys the slopes while Fran enjoys the beach. Mike has pulled Fran out of her shell. He has made her more daring, adventurous, fun-loving, and free. Mike, you are Fran's best friend, and you truly care about her so much. You are an engineer at heart, but we all know when it comes to Fran, you have quite the romantic side. From the book you wrote to Fran after you first started dating, till part 2 dropped when you proposed. Mike, I've come to realize that this was your plan all along. You always knew that one day you'd marry Fran. Fran, you're my best friend. You constantly juggle way more than anyone I know, and yet you still always seem to have it together. Since we've been kids, you've always been someone I've looked up to, my big sister. You're determined, you're kind, and you do right by people. You're smart, you're funny, you're empathetic, and I know these are just a few of the reasons why Mike loves you. But most importantly, you and Mike truly bring out the better side of one another. You care deeply for each other and for those that you love. I know you will cherish each other for a lifetime. So I'll conclude with a toast to the bride and groom. Mike and Fran, I wish you all the best in this new chapter of your life together. Congratulations. So to transition into something entirely less serious, but nonetheless sentimental. I've always written raps for my friends and birthday cards, but so this momentous occasion required a first-time live performance. So, without further ado. Now this is a story all about how friends' life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how these two became the new Danik pair. On the west side of Binghamton, born and raised, BU's campus is where we spent most of our days. Reading up, studying, pretending to be cool, cause we still hit up State Street outside of the school. Then a couple of guys from Vessel's neck of the wood came to visit us in our collegiate neighborhood. They met one fateful night and though both unaware, Fran would marry Uncle Mike in his swing flowy hair. Mike begged and pleaded with Fran day after day, but he was headed to school that was hours away. So their relationship waited and Mike knew he would visit for Fran's love and affection. He knew we would miss it, so he moved back and the rest was history. But Fran moved to a place that wasn't so wintry. What are the people of Charlotte living like? No skiing, no snow, and it's quite the hike. But wait to hear Fran's place is fancy in that. Is this the type of place to handle this big cat? I don't think so. I'll see when I get there. And Fran cleared out a cupboard so that she was prepared. Then Mike souped up a Civic like a true engineer. There was a plow in the front and a bike in the rear. If anything, one might say this Civic was rare, but he thought, man, forget it. Yo, home to North Care. He pulled up to Fran's place and she would never forget, with a jet ski, a bike, and his orange Corvette. But it was finally happening, he was finally there, and they found love as the new Danik pair.